Hello and welcome to Eat Good with me, your host, Kirly Sue. And this is the show where you, the viewers, are requesting recipes that are vegan, quick, easy and tasty, and a sheer delight to make as well. Today's recipe is one of my favorites. It's pulled mushroom. Now, in recent years, there's been pulled pork, pulled beef, pulled absolutely everything there is. And you know, vegans like their pulled stuff as well. So today we're making pulled mushrooms. So the mushrooms we're going to use are these ones. So if you're not a connoisseur of mushrooms and don't know the names, this is a king oyster mushroom. Well, from where I live in the world, this is what we call it, a king oyster mushroom. And you can tell because it's kind of like, it has a long trunk. So that's the king oyster mushroom. You can shred other ones as well, but this one is the best one for this particular recipe. So first of all, we're going to take the tops off and put those aside. We can use those for something else later. Just take the tops off like that. And we're going to do them one at a time. So you just take a fork, one fork to hold it and the other one to shred it. So you just pull in the fork through like that to shred it through. So you have to kind of give it a little bit of elbow grease to make sure, because you're kind of making it look a bit like shredded chicken, that sort of texture. For those of you who eat chicken or know how it looks. So you can see it's shredding it there, and then you just pull it apart slightly like that to help it along. There. So you do that with all of the mushrooms until they're all done. So this is the first one. It's quite therapeutic doing this as well. So that's the first. Just put that into the plate there. Second one. Oh, there. Some are easier to do than others. You just get into the rhythm of it. Let's go like that. There. Turn it over. Push your fork in. You just need 2 forks for this. It's really quite simple. No problem. Now, mushrooms don't have much of a flavor, so we're going to turn up the volume of the flavor by adding the flavor to it. So we've got 2 more, so another one, so it's easy. Push the fork in, take the other fork and just pull. Hence why it's called pulled mushrooms. You pull the fork through and there you go. Simple. Right, this is coming apart. So if it comes apart like that, that's fine. Just do the one at a time. That's one bit. And then move the other half aside. Put that in the plate. Do the other part. Yes, there we go, there we go. Pulled mushroom, here we come. And then just help it along by pulling it apart a bit. Put that in, and the last one, here we go. Put it here. So start it off slowly a bit to get it going, and then you can speed up. Done. There. So it's come apart, which is fine. Keep going. Right, so we're nearly done. So I'm going to put my pan on the stove here and just put a splash of oil. To heat up. Right, let me just turn up the heat a little bit. Yeah. Right, so let's finish shredding. We're almost done. So there we go. So as you can see, it kind of has a chicken-like look texture. Now I know some people say, well, if you're vegan, why do you want it to look like chicken? Does it matter? No, it doesn't. It's just people, when they're transitioning from a non-vegan diet to a vegan diet, sometimes they like things that they're familiar with. So that's all. Doesn't have to look like it, it just happens to. There you go. All right, so put that in here. I don't want to waste any because it's so nice. All right, then to this, we're going to add some garlic powder, a tiny pinch of salt, just like 1/4 teaspoon, and corn flour. Do all of that. And then you're going to toss it around so that it coats all of it. You can add a little bit of black pepper to this as well. So you just want to make sure the corn flour coats all of the mushroom mixture, because that's how you're going to get the crunchiness on it as well. All right, so we've got to make sure the oil is nice and hot before we drop it in. And for this, we're using coconut oil, but you can use canola oil, any kind of oil you like, really. Either is fine. All right, just making sure it's all incorporated. Just want to get the flavor. Here we go. All right. So we just give it a couple more seconds to make sure it's nice and hot, and then we're ready to go. So while we're waiting for that, just look and just see if there's any pieces that need a little extra shredding. We've got a couple here. And this, incidentally, I made this when sometimes I collaborate with other people who are chefs to make videos for social media. And I did so with some friends of mine. We had like a video, chef's content video, couple of days. I was the only vegan chef, but they are all meat eaters. So I made this and they really enjoyed it, which I was quite impressed by that. They said, one of them, he said, no, I don't eat mushrooms. I don't like it. I said to him, fun fact, I'm not really a great fan of mushrooms, but depending on how you make it, I will like it as well. So he tried it and he went, oh, wow, this tastes like food, which is kind of a compliment and not a compliment at the same time, but I took it positively. So that was a lovely compliment. Yeah. So I think the oil is probably ready now. Yes. So you just drop this in. We're going to do it half at a time because this pan's not super big. Here we go. It smells lovely already. So you want to give that time to brown. And then once it has, you kind of turn it a little bit. Once you've turned it, then you're going to drain it on some kitchen paper, and then I'll do the other half of it as well. You just adjust the heating. Yeah, we're ready. So what you do, you allow this to fry until it's crispy. So that's what you're looking for, because that when it's crispy, that's when you get the lovely crunch. So give that a few minutes to crisp up. So you can see it's just beginning to start to get crispy. So as you see, it's a bit crispy, then you turn it over. Oh yes, there you can see the crispiness, lovely. Yes, we're having a good pulled mushroom day. We can see the crispiness, lovely. Thank you, mushrooms, and thank you, God, for letting these things cooperate. Yes, lovely, lovely. All right, give that another couple of seconds. We'll drain it on here. And then we'll do the next batch. So if you're not a fan of mushrooms, what I would recommend is try different ones, because there's lots of different mushrooms. Also, depending on the texture, sometimes people don't like a particular food, not necessarily the flavor, it's the texture. So for me, a weird thing is I like tomatoes if you slice them, but some people can just pick up a tomato and bite it. I can't do that. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. I don't like it, the texture like that, but if it's sliced, I'm fine. So if you're trying new foods, try it in different ways, particularly if you're starting to become vegan. Try it in different ways to see if it makes a difference to you, if it has a different texture. So that bit's ready. Let's go now for the second batch. All right, let's spread it out so it all gets crispy. And the good thing about mushroom, it's a good way to replace meat. There's many dishes that you can create with mushroom to replace meat in your diet. Because it's so versatile and there's so many different things that you can make with it. All right, give it a little longer to make it. Oh, right, we're getting there with the crispiness. Oh, lovely. Turn that one over. There's a good thing about mushrooms, you can use it to mimic things if you want to, or add the flavors that you want. So if there's a particular meat dish where you like the seasonings in it, add those seasonings to mushrooms instead. You'd be surprised. All right, so that's done. Put that on here. So now we're going to make a sauce to go over it. So first of all, we're going to fry some onion and some garlic. And we've got some scallion or green onion as well. So you're just going to fry that down a little bit until it's soft and translucent. So this is when you're going to really get the flavor to kick in for this dish, because I'm going to add a few more things as well. I'm going to add some soy sauce, some tahini, a little bit of sugar, some ginger. We can add the ginger at this stage as well. And that's going to taste wonderful. There, it's starting to change color, as you can see. Starting to get soft, that's what we want. Right. All right, so now we can add our soy sauce. And the recipe for this is in my cookbook. I'll give you the details. Stay tuned to the end of the program and I'll give you the details of where you get the recipe for today's dish. Going to put some brown sugar. Some water. and some tahini. I think I need a teaspoon for this. Teeny bit of salt and some tahini. All right, that's looking nice. Let that cook down a bit. I think it needs some extra tahini, and get some. Because some tahinis are different in their texture, so you might have to adjust it. So what you want to do is leave that to cook down until it thickens a bit. Smells wonderful, and the flavors, it's like a party in your mouth, just a burst of flavor when you eat these. You can see it starting to thicken there now. So we're going to give that a couple more minutes, and then we'll put the pulled mushroom into here, give it a stir, and then it's ready. And then we're just going to add some chopped spring onion onto the top to present it. And you get the spring onion ready. These flavors are divine. In this dish, I use soy sauce, but you can switch it out for coconut aminos or Bragg's aminos instead. All right, that's just about ready. So put this in. You take it off the heat. Give it a stir. So I'm going to need my forks to break it up a bit. All right. All right, so that's done. So now we're going to serve it on a platter. And top it with a little spring onion to garnish. Just a few more. And there we have our pulled mushroom, which is bursting with flavor, and it's good for you as well. Great for the environment. So I'm going to have a little taste myself, because this is one of my favorite dishes. It's crispy, savory, with a bit of sweet. It's fantastic. It needs a little pinch of salt. That's it. And that is our pulled mushroom. To see more recipes like this one, go to Hope channel, Southeast Asia, or follow us on hopetv.asia.
From my experience, I think that's the best diet because we learn from the Bible. That's considered as the original diet. And so from the beginning, God, the Creator, He the one who created human being, and He know what is the best for us. And that's why He give us the original diet, or what we use another name. That's the vegan diet. When I start to become a vegetarian, actually, vegan is something that I really want to be. However, I have my personal problem. As a pastor, we have to come and visit a lot with the members and just provide the food, vegetarian food. For me, that's quite challenging for them. And now we even go another further step that only plant-based. Then sometimes it's quite difficult for the members, for the visitors. And that's why if I can choose myself, I try to be plant-based, vegan one. But if I have to go out with members, if I have to be with someone else, so as long as it's vegetarian, for me, that's all right. So I have a question now. Vegan mostly plant-based diet. And so how can we make it more nutritious and especially more tasty with that kind of food? Is it true that if we follow the vegan diet, it can help us to reduce our weight?
And now we come again to the viewers' question section. Today I have two questions that kind of overlap each other. The first question is, does vegan food lack flavor? I would say it depends on who's cooking it and what your philosophy or what your ideas are when it comes to cooking vegan food. There are some people who think, well, it's not meat, so it doesn't need any seasoning. I really don't know why they think that. I've always maintained that when you're making your vegan meals, think of where you're from in the world and what sort of seasonings you like, what sort of flavors you like, and add those kinds of flavors to your vegan dish. It doesn't mean because it's vegetables, okay, it doesn't need to have any flavor, or if it's beans or pulses or legumes or any vegan ingredient, add the flavors that you like so that you enjoy the meal. Some people think, well, it's just vegetables, you boil them and that's it. That's not necessary, and that's a very, I would say, dated way of thinking of cooking vegan food. So to answer the question, is vegan food lacking in flavor? No, I wouldn't say it is. I would say it would only lack flavor if you don't give it any flavor. So the second one is diet. Can a vegan diet help people to lose weight? There's this misconception that all vegan food is healthy, and it isn't. So I'll give you an example. If you have chips or French fries, deep fried in oil, that's vegan, but there's nothing healthy about that. The point I'm making here is you have to think of a whole food, plant-based diet. And if you want to lose weight, it's about diet and exercise. I think the ratio is it's 20% linked to how much exercise you do and 80% linked to how much to what you eat. 80% linked to what you eat. So therefore you have to look at your fat, sugar and salt intake. Once you look at your fat, sugar and salt intake and you are exercising regularly on any diet, you're more likely, or not any, most diets, you will lose weight. So to say, oh, if I go on a vegan diet, I will definitely lose weight. I think it's because you're changing what you're eating and it probably defaults to things that are lower in fat for some people. So in that respect, yes, you will lose weight, but a vegan diet in general will not make you lose weight because there's so many nice, delicious things that are not low in calories that are vegan that you can eat. So thank you for that question. Thank you for watching today's show. Keep watching this series for more wonderful vegan recipes. Eat good and see you next time. Bye.